Hey guys, I wanted to pop in and make a video. Oh, you can see my bed's not made. I have to clean my sheets anyway, so I'm just going to rip them off. Sorry, I get distracted. Okay, so I had a very busy morning. It actually started last night when I was trying to get a hold of Vanguard. Their corporate action department was gone, and so I started calling this morning. Um, Probably at about 7:45 my time. I'm on Central. And the first guy didn't want to talk to me. In fact, he hung up on me. I was really surprised because I wasn't mean to him. I just asked to get transferred to someone else because he wouldn't tell me when I could get a hold of the corporate actions department, like when they came in. And so then he's like, they're not in. And so then I call back and I talk to somebody else, and guess who's actually in the corporate actions department. And so the person that I talked to, they are not letting me talk to the corporate actions department anymore. They're basically just like they'll relay information. And so I was like, hey, can you start a case on my behalf with the DTC in regards to the share allocations? And they were like, well, we can't. So, well, actually, they gave me the runaround. And then I was like, can I just get a yes or no answer? And he came back and they said, no, they will not start a case on my behalf with the DTC. So then I called the DTC, who was super nice, and she was like, yeah, they're supposed to. So she started a case, but it was more of like an internal case. She didn't give me a case number. I asked for a case number. She's like, no, it's not like that. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. So she said that the managers were talking about this because they're getting calls, a bunch of calls. And she said what they're doing is called stonewalling. And so I had also tried to call the SEC because I understand that, MMTLP wasn't regulated by the SEC, but I knew that the brokers were, and this was kind of like, even though it was in regards to MMTLP, it was a broker issue, so I thought that maybe I could talk to the SEC, and they said, your options are arbitration or civil, but you could also go in and file a complaint with the SEC. So she made a suggestion that I had not even thought of, and it's brilliant. We've been doing all this legwork, right? And a lot of us have family that are invested in this. A lot of us have our parents or elderly family that are invested in this. She said that when a complaint is filed, if it's filed on behalf of or done by someone who's elderly, it's weighted much higher than somebody like myself who's in an earning age, right? Because of fraudulent activity to somebody who's older, it is more impactful to them because they can't make back these losses. And also like the whole elderly abuse and all that stuff. So if we can get, it's gonna be too long to put on just a normal YouTube. Dang it. All right, I'm just gonna, not YouTube, normal Twitter. It's already at 2 minutes and 50 seconds. So let's just keep going because this was good stuff. Okay. So what she told me was it's weighted higher if they're elderly. So I was like, okay, we can do that. So we can do arbitration, we could do civil, all that stuff's kind of like, and but we can file a complaint on the SEC's website, particularly if we can get our elderly people within the MetaFam community to put in their complaints. I don't know what they consider elderly, if it's 65 and older. Husband almost came in. He doesn't like to be in the videos, so I'm gonna shut the door and lock it because he likes privacy, and that's good. Okay, so yeah, if we can get them to file a complaint, that would be really good. Go and call your broker if they refuse to put in the file a case on your behalf with your broker, then call the DTC, do that. And the other thing that she mentioned, and I'm going to actually be spending a mommy-daughter date with my 5-year-old, so I probably won't be on this. I'm trying to prioritize my family because we're doing a fam chat tomorrow with John Bird. I'll be there. That's at 3 Eastern Standard Time, so I'm trying to spend time with my family today. So anyways, so the other thing that she mentioned that I am not going to have that time or energy really to do, if somebody could look into this for me, please. She said, she's like, you can file a Freedom of Information Act. And I was like, well, I thought that you could only file that like for public entities. Like I thought it was only for if you were filing like for the government or something, like you wanted to see some governmental something. And she said, no, you can do it with your bank. So then that made me think, if we can file a FOIA for our broker, Could we then see how many short positions that they have open? I mean, obviously it would just be the accounting of what they have, but if we could do that, like, so if I did Vanguard, for instance, and you did Fidelity, and somebody else did Webull, and somebody else did TD and Schwab, and blah, 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 could we then get an accounting of how many short positions have not been closed? And we're talking, not just your Mmtlp, but your TRCH legacy shorts that have not been closed. So that was a thought that that I had, and I'm not really sure how that works. She was kind of just spitballing ideas with me because I was nice. We were talking about, oh, she was saying that people threatened to like go bomb her, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. Um, so anyways, so yeah, so like kind of like Pidge what she always says to be nice. I was nice to this lady and she was nice to me, and it was very helpful. Because at first you could tell she had her guard up, but then like when we started just like talking, then she opened up. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we can do. I almost want to take my daughter to back to the FBI office and be like, hey, let's go check this out. And I want to give them the new information, but I'm also like, there comes a point in time where you just need to step away and let other people do some stuff. So I think I'm going to step away, maybe, because I'm kind of addicted. And hopefully you guys can do some stuff for me. I'm brainstorming literally while this is filming. I don't know. I don't know, guys, like, I just can't believe how big and awful and corrupt and I didn't assume that my brokerage was my friends, but I did think they were my advocate because I thought they had a vested interest in protecting my money because, I mean, essentially my money comes back and reinvests with them because, I mean, I have mutual funds with Vanguard too. The other thing that the lady has said at the SEC, and this is what concerned me, and this actually really worries me. She said that they can like close your account if they don't like the sound of your voice. Like it's all in your terms and agreements. But I was also looking at SEC rules, and it sounds like they can't just like sell your stuff without your permission. So now I'm like, holy crap, I mean, they can't really sell my counter CUSIP Mmtlp because like it's just sitting there. But now I'm like, okay, I've got all my MMAT with them, not all of it, but I have like a lot of shares in there, and now I'm like, oh my gosh, if I poke the bear, like I'm kind of poking the bear, could they liquidate me just because I've pissed them off? Like, that seems predatory, but at this point I can't hold anything past them, and I'm kind of like, how do I protect my MMAT? And then I'm also like, well, I could always transfer to another broker, but Vanguard was my trusted broker because I had stuff in Robinhood, and then I transferred it over to Vanguard. I couldn't transfer my MMTLP that was in Robinhood because the Vanguard wouldn't take it. They said because they didn't ever sell MMTLP, even though they held it with me, they never sold it. But people have posted, and I see that Vanguard actually did in fact sell. And I also think that they were one of the larger shorters of TRCH. But I guess maybe I can get a FOIA and look into that. But if I do that, do I piss them off? Do I need to register my MMAT shares? Like, this is just me thinking out loud. And if you guys have advice for me, not financial advice. Oh, yeah. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, guys. Like, duh, I'm not. Everything I say is entertainment. Are you, like Pitch says, are you entertained? I am not as entertaining as she is. She's a much better entertainer, and I appreciate everything that she does. And the rest of our YouTubers, of course. So here I am with my dilemma. Do I register before I do any FOIA stuff? What do I do? Because I don't want retaliation, and I cannot trust them to not retaliate against me. And I don't know if there's a trusted broker because I'm looking at all the brokerage firms, and it's like we're all in the same shit. Like they're all corrupt. So yeah. So those are just thoughts, questions. Can you guys like just ponder this for me? Thanks. I appreciate you guys more than you would know.